Now we're recording. Hello! Welcome to Z Reviews. I'm your host, Zeospantera, the host of Z Reviews and Inner Fetish, which if you've been checking out my other channel where I do I Am Reviews, also all my collabs are in a link tree, but I've been using some equipment on this desk, specifically this, and that, for testing IMs for the last couple weeks, and I haven't reviewed any of those things. All I've ever reviewed was the WA7 Fireflies and the Atom 2, which if you haven't seen those reviews here, go check them out. This, however, is kind of interesting, because Hi-Fi Go was like, hey, we have new FX audio. You remember the FX audio times NFJ, like it was the biggest, stupidest, and it all kind of blended in, and SMSL and topping sort of stood above it. Well, they were like, hey, we've got the new FX audio, and they've got a whole new redesign. They really think you're going to like the way it sounds. And I was not super interested. I'm like, all right, FX audio, whatever. It'll come out. It'll be a thing. But then it showed up, and this is the DR07, and it's a DAC amp, so unit tour. Wait, we're going to do actual timestamps with correct things today. Unit tour before we talk about how this fucking thing sounds. Front. Power/select. So you hit this button and it goes, what do we have? Bluetooth, USB, optical, or coaxial, which is what I've got it inputting. Here's your little tiny screen, which you could finally see thanks to the Pocket 2, which is mounted to my head. There's a full gimbal camera mounted to my head. You have got an MQA light, which we could just fucking, you know what? I can't ignore it. Link in the description for Uni Posca markers. These are paint pens and they're great. We don't need it. Oh, look at it go away. Oh, it's going away. Just like bankruptcy is causing it to really go away. It's going away. Oh, there we go. It's like Bob Ross and his happy little trees. It's gonna go away to happy little MQA logo. We'll come back and do a second code over that in a bit. But yes, we can ignore the MQA logo. And then you have two outputs. And this is what bothered me the most, but I'm getting over it. Because you get a 3.5 millimeter and a 1/4 inch. Not necessary, because these exist. Well, not specifically this DD Hi-Fi one. It's just expensive. This is the DJ65A. That is a piece of beautiful machining to make a 1/4 inch adapter. So since I could do this, I don't need both of those. I would rather have, like the Atom Amp 2 is doing, which will be probably the direct comparison to sound, will be to the Atom Amp 2. That has a 4.4, but it's not balanced. So this should have a 4.4, even if it's not balanced. I'm okay with this because everything I use, all my cables, are 4.4. So I don't want to have to use the beautiful adapters that come with, well, DD Hi-Fi sends me these. This one is the DJ65B. It's like $40, but when I could take a 4.4 and just jam it in there and then just jam it in there and just jam it in there, sold. So it doesn't give me a 4.4, but it does give me a 1/4 inch, which means I got to leave this in there, and I prefer 1/4 inch over 3.5, so I would almost never use that 3.5 unless you were using very specific cheap IMs or maybe a set of KBH 40s, which I should pull out specifically for this review, considering this, I'm almost done with the front. It's got a volume knob, infrared, and you push this in to do high-low gain and different filters, whatever. Front's done. This has, and I was told this when I was sent it, and I can't find any documentation of it online. This has 10 op amps in it. That's what I was told. I could be lying to you. I'm just giving you that heads up, like, hey, Zeus might be full of shit right now, because neither the Amazon page for Hi-Fi Go or the Hi-Fi Go page has this listed as having anything special to do with the op amps. But I was told it has 10 of them. That's this many. Now, normally a stereo thing would only have 2. But I think they have 5 per fucking channel, and that is the only explanation to how this thing sounds. Because it kind of sounds like a tube amp or a very heavy-duty Class A. And considering it's a $169 DAC amp combo, that should intrigue you. Are you intrigued? She looks intrigued. Notice how she's got some hidden tendencies there. Like, they're there, and you don't notice them until you notice them. And it's like, oh. Other things this has. Back tour. Ready? Turn that bitch around. Bluetooth antenna, which I'm making it a habit now to take Bluetooth antennas off of devices if I'm not using them. Because sometimes they'll actually pick up just RF frequencies and put them through the rest of the unit. So put that someplace safe. USB in, full size. Optical in, which I'm not using. Coaxial digital in, which I am using. Behind that, is an optical out that works. Oh God, it's tight. Amazon Basics. Zeoslink Amazon Basics optical cables, they're the best. So you got an optical in, coaxial in, USB in, Bluetooth in, and then optical motherfucking out that works on all of these. And I was not sure if it was going to only work with the USB. Sometimes they only work with the USB. This works. I have the coaxial in, and it's outputting. It's going right now to the K19 from FIO. And then you've got the left and right line outs. They're labeled line out. They're pre-out, which, take that or leave it. This has, by the way, dual AK4493 DACs in it. So it's no slouch as far as like the decoding that it can pull off. Like that's top of the line for, well, I think the 99 is like the top of the line, but the 93s are like good. No one's going to go, oh, you've got shitty DACs in there. It's like you actually has quality DAC chips. And then so after the RCAs come out, which are only preamp, which means the volume will always adjust them, you've got an input which is only a 12 volt, which is odd because most things aren't 12 volt anymore, which means you hook this up in your car or on a battery, hook it up to a car battery. I don't care. I actually don't remember what the amperage is, but all I can tell you is at 32 ohms, this is 1.1 watts, which is still enough for everything. So let's give it signal again. Let's give it its coaxial input. If you want to unplug, I'm currently running the Sun Wukong Tigerism IMs. If you haven't seen my IM channel, these, APOS sells Tigerisms, and these, and let me just tell you, these. So, putting those back in my ears for a second. I was just jamming to Bad Wings, Glitch Mob, Bad Wings versus Lil Wayne and LaRue. Look, man, music just is good, or it isn't, and this is some shit that's good. So, plop this unit down. This feels old school. It doesn't look like as good as the new, like look at the new SMSLs with their raised clear screens, and it's like above with a lip, and then you've got like toppings have just been like the glass tops, and this is like, it's a black box. I put a waifu sticker on it, or else I'd be bored out of my mind. But the front kind of got this like very like white stripe, which we got to redo. Got to keep hammering it till the MQA disappears. Eventually, no one will have to do this anymore because it'll just be actually gone. Oh yeah, you're going away now for sure. Oh yeah, you're mine now. Just little love taps, little Bob Ross love taps. Happy little trees. It's got a look to it, and it's got a nice feel to it. Like it's a solid piece of aluminum all the way around. There's the high-res audio sticker I peeled off the top and shoved in the bottom. Fuck you, high-res audio stickers. But it's basic, and it's simple, and it's just a little bit warm. It doesn't get hot, and it runs off a 12 volt, and it takes all the inputs you'd probably ever fucking need, gives you back a fiber optic output to run to something else, and then you get the RCA outs, which they specify in the thing. You could run it to a tube amp and act as a tube pre, which is what this is doing right now. If I unplug if I unplug that, I can plug it into here, which is currently being fed off the fiber optic, or plug it into the WA7 Fireflies using these wonderful CESS RCA cables, by the way, which I attached together. They came with these, but I attached them together with that. It gave that twist. It's so nice. They're so flexible. So now this, I could just set and then control the volume here on the WA7 Fireflies. So it's a good fucking DAC. And it's a good fucking pass-through to other DACs. And then the headphone out. We have to talk about the headphone out, because I think I could sell this to you, the consumer at home, strictly from how good the DAC output is. Because it's like this creamy, smooth, warm. It's like, oh, this is a DAC with flavor, but it's good flavor. It's like Hainanese rice, which I've learned to cook recently, and you have to saute like sesame oil and garlic and what the fuck's the other ingredient? Sesame oil, garlic, ginger, and cloves. You just saute that, and you put the rice in it. You saute the uncooked rice like that, and you put the rice in a pressure cooker. There's a whole recipe. It's great. The real, like, oh fuck moment is not even the great output of the back. It's the great output of the front. Now I'm running on low gain. I'll take the IMs out because I've been using this specifically for IM tests. Now, if you don't know, IMs tend to be a little bit more sensitive than headphones. Giant, fucking expensive, murderous planar headphones, even though these are not that murderous. But the powers, they could use a little power. And I haven't needed to put it on high gain once. I have to use an adapter, which if I honestly I can't. I just want to collab with DD Hi-Fi so that I could put a Z logo on this fucking adapter and give me $8 when someone buys it, because it's just such a nice thing. Ugh. Powers with brainwaves pads. And I have them marked. If you haven't seen the review of this yet, it should be out. Lose control. All right, so this goes to 99. We are currently at 20, and it's a digital volume control, so it just goes click, 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 click. You do get a remote, by the way, in case you're wondering, you get a remote. You could ignore these 4 buttons, because, well, DAC is what you hit to control this. But if you had an FX Audio amp, you'd hit that and then control the amp. Or you'd hit player to control a CD player. And EQ doesn't seem to do anything. So really, once you've set it to DAC, you could ignore these entire buttons. In is obviously input. Mute is obviously mute. Power is obviously power. OK gets you into the menu, if you want to even call it that. So you get low gain, high gain, filter, and then output either all, or it'll do specifically on, or auto. You have all or auto. So all the outputs are happening right now all the time. That's what I want. If you do auto, when you plug in a headphone, things disable in the back. I don't think the fiber optic does. So here, right, we're on auto. Take that off for a second. Put on these. By the way, we're listening to Bryan Adams' One Night Love Affair from, I know it best from the Real Genius soundtrack. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. That movie's amazing. Yeah, nothing's playing. So if I unplug this, now that's playing. Plug it back in. Now that's playing, but not that's playing. But now, what about this? Oh, that continues to play. So the fiber optic output is not controlled volume-wise or adjusted from switching, which is good. It's what I want. I want it to play all the same fucking time. Everything should be playing. So I guess it's time to move off of the functionality, because I think you get it. Oh, I didn't finish the thing. Volume up and down is volume up and down. Next and last track is also volume up and down. And I almost got him. And then the center is out auto or out all, and then gain high and low. How do you change the gain high and low? Oh, left and right. Brian, could you not, Brian? You're just going to get me copyright infringement. Yeah, high and low gain actually clicks a relay inside of this, which is another rare thing. It means it's switching a circuit over. It isn't just going, I don't know, make it more. It's actually doing things. So we'll leave those there. They can play Bryan Adams all the hell they want. Or if we want to be really like that pedantic audiophile, you got to put the mezzes on the fucking Wasset and Fireflies. So now the volume is being controlled here from the RCA output feeding that, which I could lower that a bit. But now this, plug in paras, and we'll do a direct swap. Hold on. I've been doing a lot of, obviously, when I play with IMs. When you're playing with IMs, you do a lot of amp swapping. And I've got this monstrosity down here, this Burson, which is still so hot, even though I turned it off like 45 minutes ago. And I'll go from, and I'll move this up here, hold on. By the way, this is a USB cable it comes with, and I just thought it was interesting to keep with it. It's a Jing H, and it feels like something you get with like an N64. They were nice enough to include a very nice, flexible, retro USB cable. Unplug, plug into here. I love the Atom 2. This is an amplifier that I 100% trust. Like, made in America, very linear, 4.4 output, good enough power. Like, it actually has decent power. I think 2 watts? And it's like $135. When I go from that to this, this is its, not its opposite, but man, do they complement each other. So this is clean, neutral, straight, just giving you enough power, enough cleanliness, and I trust everything on it. I'll plug these $2,000 headphones or these $200 headphones or anything into it, and I trust it. But then I plug into the FX Audio DR07, and it's like, oh, are you Class A? What are you? Why are you doing this? How do you sound like you do? There's enough of a difference in this and that if you fed this into that and took some of it, it would almost ruin it because of how warm it would make it. Like it just does things. The DAC does things, but the fucking amp does more things. Like it's just bigger and wider and smoother, and it's like, oh shit. It's the kind of difference you wouldn't expect in like a $170 amp DAC. When I got the Rebel amp over there, that's a Class A. It's made in Ukraine. It's 1 watt per channel, which is not even that much, but it's like you get this sensation of like, oh, this is different, and therefore I need it on my desk. Well, guess what? This is different, and I think I need it on my desk. It's the one thing that, like, if I was building a perfect IM test bench arena, it would have that Atom 2 on it, that WA7 Fireflies, and this. It would be these three so far. I don't know. They can't include the Mascobo because everything just sounds amazing on that. We'll get to it. We'll get to the Mascobo 475. But I am legit like fucking what? Oh, by the way, if you tap that, it mutes. I am legit like, what the fuck? What is in you? What is in you? I want to plug things inside of you to listen to them. It's an actual thing I want to do. If I'm listening to IMs and I start on the Atom 2 and maybe I move over to the Burst and I go to something clean, or I just like, you know what? I wonder what it'll sound like on the FX Audio with like, and again, I'm going to say this because it's the only thing that makes the explanation of how it sounds correct. I want to see what 10 op amps does to it. And I haven't taken it apart to see if there are fucking 10 op amps. And even if there were 10 fucking op amps, am I willing to put $150 in op amps in it? Getting those like Aura cells for $15 a piece and swapping out every single one? I don't think I want to. Any more off kilter the sound, then it would be something weird. This is just like when you know how you weigh a penny or weigh money? You don't weigh a single dollar bill. You get a stack of 100. Then you get 10 stacks of 100. Then you weigh that fucking massive pile of money and you divide by the number of bills, and then you get a pretty accurate description of how it is. So that's what I'm imagining is happening with audio in this. Give me, you know what? I gotta fucking, where are they? You come to me, because you're the only one. You're the truth sayer. You are the Quizoctara of headphones. These are my modified KPH 40s with Taconi black foam specifically and holes punched into it just so I could see the driver and let some treble through. And they're the best thing ever. You could also go out and buy a $50 or a $35 balanced cable or go to Heart Audio and do it. But I really wish it had 4.4. But the money weighing analogy. Imagine like a relatively affordable op amp doesn't do a lot to the sound. So you change op amps. So now take that relatively affordable op amp and add 4 more fucking op amps per channel behind it. So whatever little bit of change is going to compound with a little bit of change, is going to compound with a little bit of change, is going to compound with a little more change, and compound with the 5th fucking change. It's so much fucking change. I fear the tweakers are going to get hold of this and they're going to open it up. Oh, I muted it here and then I unpaused there. They're going to open it up and be like, ooh, 10 op amps. I'll put Burstons in this one, and I'll put Sparkos in this one, and I'll put Aura cells in this one, and they just have a stack of every fucking type of thing. That's the only thing I can think of to how it has 10. I could be wrong. I'm not willing to rip it apart before the review, maybe after the review. In fact, maybe when this review ends, I'll say my goodbyes, I'll tell you to join my Patreon and Subscribestar, and maybe then I'll take the only, stuck under the fucking, is there anything under here? I don't think there's anything under here. No, those are just feet. Nice little rubber feet, by the way. There's only 2 fucking hex screws. If I pull those out, does this whole thing slide out and then I could see the op amps? We'll find out at the end of this video. Stay tuned till the end of the video. In the meantime, this kind of sounds like a fucking tube amp, and it kind of sounds like a fucking Class A amp, and it's a $170 FX Audio DR07 solid state. What? How is it so warm and luscious? Like, what the fuck is inside of this thing? And I gotta say this because I love my DD high. I love my like hi-fi goes, my Linsols. But whoever decided that there's the Tigerism IMs, by the way, great, fucking $750. But oh my god, I would change the cable slightly. But whoever designed this page to explain things and go through all these has no fucking idea how to talk to like actual human beings. Like, why am I looking at the CMOS reference chipset sheet for the Bluetooth? And it keeps talking about 8 channels, and I'm like, it doesn't have that. Then it starts, let all types of music shine through. So it's showing you types of music. I don't need any of this. I mean, there's some good recommendations there. I mean, certainly Stokowski Living Stereo is really good. But, like, turn your phone tablet into a digital player. It's like, we know. It feels like it's trying to convince like a kindergartner that this is a great unit, and we are beyond that, right? It is a great unit. You don't have to fucking worry about it. Anyone who plugs anything into it is going to be like, oh shit, this sounds amazing. Calm down. Calm yourself. Let Zeos rewrite that entire page for you. You know, there's a bigness and a lusciousness and a warmth to this that does not make sense for a solid state, and it's got to be that fucking stack of op-amps. Unless I'm hallucinating, there's none. Whatever it is, though, I don't care. Give me more of this FX Audio. In fact, FX Audio, take this $169 unit, which is fantastic, and let me see what you could do with like a $499 budget. Can I get a $499 one of these? You know, maybe with a couple watts of power, something that'll run tungsten, because that would be the end of days. And I'm going to say that the DAC output, that warmth that I'm describing here, comes out of the DAC output, but just slightly toned down. Like, it's just a little tiny bit less. Because it's still running voltage out. It's still analog outputting. And it's doing all the DAC inputting. But it's just a little less. But not enough less that I'm like, well, it's boring out the back. No, it's really interesting out the back. A giggity. So, yeah. Fucking Richard Cheese Baby Got's back on KPH40s. Look, it's even a headphone stand. So yeah, this is fucking stupid, and everyone needs one of these. The end. Look at her butt. I like big butts, and I cannot lie. Okay, so yeah, here's and that's, by the way, all this is on low. I've yet to put it on high. It does get a little bit, like I could tell on high, it's like high! It's like low is like smooth and creamy and rich, and high is like high, and I'm like, oh. You know what? Oh, fine, we'll fucking get the tungstens. Where are they? Tungy? Tungsten? Where the fuck are my tungstens? Should I know? I've got the 9.0s there, but you don't want to run those. Those are a pre-release driver. Give me a second. I'll be right back. Little in the middle. They were upstairs in my office, so I haven't plugged them in yet. And I don't think I've hooked them up to this unit because it's just like how many units can I hook it up to. I got to try the NAC because that's 8 watts a channel at some point. So we're coming off of balanced into this. We're going to hold this button down. We're going to switch it to high gain. Volume at 50. I'm still using these 3D printed backs. And now there's another set of 3D printed backs that makes like a dispersion guide inside that someone wants me to try. And I'm like, oh, fuck. These headphones will never be done. They're just always going to be the mod house moddable. All right, 50 out of 100, or 50 out of 99. $99 out of 99. Amber Rubarth. It's a quiet song. Ooh, all right, let's go to a louder song. Louder. More! Fucking yeah. AC/DC House of Jazz. Oh, it's so close to being perfect. I'd say that's 91% of where I want this to be. So it's got all the power in the world. And it sounds fucking good. I can go back to listening to it, actually. Actually, I could use this. You know what I would do? I'd use this to preamp a speaker amp with RCA, and then have this be powered by a speaker amp, and then I just use this to control the volume and be the DAC. There you go. Problem solved. Anyway, thank you for stopping by. The wallpaper. The wallpaper, there's got something about it. There's something about that wallpaper. I can't quite put my fingers on it, but full entire hands and maybe my upper forearms on it. We'll be in the Wallpaper Horde. Patreon and Subscribestar support this channel. They literally do. Please help pay for electric bills and heat and all the other things. And actually do buy things occasionally with that. But Patreon and Subscribestar, see reviews early for $5 a month. Participate in yard sales 1st to the 10th of every month for $5 a month. Hear losses sound demos. All the sound demos that have disappeared from the YouTubes. I have like 14 of them to make, and they're going to get dumped probably in one day. Usually every 2 months I go back and I'm like, what didn't I sound demo? And then sound demo it all, and I don't have any restrictions on both music selection or wallpapers when I'm not uploading them to YouTube. So you check that out for $5 a month. There'll also be a questionnaire post for $5 a month that lets you post a question, and I will answer it either in a private live stream or a private video for patrons. That has not started yet. I'm still mentally preparing myself to have to do that. So that's a fourth reason to join Patreon for $5 a month. The $10 a month lets you go into the behind-the-scenes private Telegram chat where you could ask me questions directly every day. So if you don't want to wait for like a once-a-month video response, then boom, $10 a month puts you in the private behind-the-scenes Telegram chat where you ask me questions directly. And you get into a lifetime swap meet channel to buy, sell, and trade gear. It's a private thing that you get into that for life. So yeah, links to this. It's something special, man. It is something fucking special. And I didn't think FX Audio could pull it off. But they've improved their build quality enough. If I had a 4.4, this would be a 10 out of 10 unit. It is a 9 out of 10 unit. Because of that, I have to use these amazing DD Hi-Fi adapters, which will cost you an extra $30. But whatever, you'll be fine. You'll be fine, I'll be fine, she'll be fine, we'll all be fine. I'll see you in the next one. Thought I would forget. All right, knob off, nut off in front of behind the knob. And then the back was 2, and then I took the 2 off of this. They may not have had to come off. And then there's these rods that connect all the way to the front. And unscrewing this one, it unscrewed the front instead of the one on the back, which is just a computer monitor stand or a computer motherboard stand off. That one stayed. That one didn't. So that would be a pain in the ass to try to get back in. So I'm going to put that back in. There's also a ribbon cable here, which I think I have to detach to pull this. Yeah, it's where we're fighting. So let's turn this over. Does that just pull out of there? I think it just pulls out of there. Yeah, it just pulls out of there. Okay, so there's that. Maybe I'll put some thread locker in that so that doesn't unscrew again, because that would be impossible to get back in there. So there's your fascia. So now, the big grand reveal. Am I crazy? There's just 2 op-amps. Damn it, where are my 10 op-amps? Clean in here, though. So far, they're just 2 op-amps. I have 2 op-amps. I wonder what would happen if I changed them out. See you in the next one. I may have put some Burson VS V5 IDs in there. Testing before I shove it all back in there. Yes. Wow, yes. Small little note. I was running the KPH-40s out of that $1,100 tube amp. And then I'm like, you know what? I think it sounds better in this. And before I changed the op-amps, it sounded better in this than on the fucking tube thing. So now, where even are we? I guess the word is heaven.